All right. Well, good afternoon, MPA community members, as well as our viewers. Thank you very much for joining us today on this unusually mild winter day here in Maplewood, Minnesota. Before we get started here, we are just going to do some brief introductions. We have two of our very current and awesome rock star international students joining myself and our upper school director, Mr. Mark Siegel, which I will have all of them introduce themselves in just a second. My name is Cory Becker-Kim. I am our International Student Program Coordinator here at MPA. I am in my first year here being a part of the MPA community and absolutely love being a part of MPA. I previously taught English abroad for 4 years. I spent 2 years in Chongqing, China, and 2 years in Busan, South Korea, and then worked for about 5 years in college admissions here in the state of Minnesota at a small liberal arts college and university. And again, first year in MPA, happy to be here, happy to have all of you joining us. And I will have the rest of our panelists briefly introduce themselves, and then we will get started. Thank you. Mark, why don't you go ahead?
Thanks, Cory. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Siegel. I am the upper school director. I'm in my 5th year at Mounds Park Academy, a native of the Twin Cities, however, have professionally spent time 7 years in Washington, D.C., 4 years in Los Angeles, California. There's no place I'd rather be than at Mounds Park Academy. Also, not only am I just an employee, but my wife and I have a 7th grade son here, so we are also parents within the community as well. Thank you.
Sean, why don't you go next, please?
Hello, I'm Sean Park from Seoul, South Korea. I'm a senior right now at Mounds Park Academy. I'm enjoying my time a lot. It's a great school, and I'm happy to talk to you guys and talk more about my experience here.
Amy?
Hello, my name is Amy Shang, and I'm from Shanghai, China. I'm currently a junior, and this is my 2nd year at MPA and the 3rd year in the United States.
Excellent. Thank you to our panelists. And again, thank you to all of you viewers that are either joining us live right now or hopefully will be able to catch the recording at a later time. Just a few more quick reminders here before we really delve into things. This is going to be an informal conversation. This is meant for all of you. Please don't feel shy or embarrassed to ask questions or post questions in the chat. Our moderator will be kind of bringing those up so that we can answer those questions for you. All 4 of us are more than happy to answer your questions and are more than willing and able to answer anything and everything. So again, please don't feel shy. Please don't be embarrassed. We welcome your questions. Having said that, while you have a few minutes to think about any burning questions or desires that you have for us, I'm going to ask both of our students, but I'll ask Sean first. Why in particular did you want to study in the United States? You know, what were some factors that drew you to wanting to study here in the United States?
Yeah, in my case, my mom got a job at 3M headquarters in Maplewood, Minnesota. So that's why I moved with her. And I thought there was just like a lot more diversity in terms of the educational opportunities that are in the US. So that's why I decided to come here.
Excellent. Thank you, Sean. And Amy, how about for you? What were some of the reasons that you chose to study in the United States?
One part of it is like from all of the high school movies and like TV shows I've watched. So I've always kind of really liked the US style of education because China and the US have really different educational systems. And I also always wanted to go to college in the United States. So I thought, why not just come in high school?
Excellent. Thank you very much to both of you. And we're going to kind of keep our current international students on the spot here. And again, please don't forget to post your questions in the chat so that our moderator and administrator can see and get them to us. Again, we're more than happy to do that. But kind of keeping the spotlight on you, Sean and Amy, here a little bit. What specifically drew you to MPA? Again, how did you hear of our school and our community? Was it through our website? Did you hear through a family friend or a family member? What kind of drew you to specifically to MPA? And Amy, we'll start with you for this one, please.
Yeah, so my first year, I was in a school in Delaware, and after that year, I transferred to MPA, and I heard about MPA from my best friend who went there, but now she transferred because of COVID. But that's how I heard about the school. So my first year in Delaware at that school, I had some kind of terrible experience because that school worked with an agency for like all of their international students. Like the agency found all the host families and like was in charge of that part. But like the agency was really, really irresponsible and terrible. So after that year, I decided to find a school that doesn't work with any agencies for their international students. And since my friend goes here, so that's how I heard about it. And I learned that like the school doesn't work with any agencies for their international students. That's why I applied to MPA.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much, Amy, again, for articulating some of that. And Sean, how about for you? Again, why MPA?
Yeah, I mean, for me, my mom came here to Minnesota a little bit earlier, I think in May, and she started looking at schools that I might attend. And among those, all the other schools were kind of, I mean, if you're an international student, we might not be the best school for you. But MPA really reached out, and we have excellent support system for international students. So they had this solid program going with many international students. And I feel like that kind of welcoming support was what really drew our family to MPA.
Excellent. And thank you so much. Again, for our viewers and our guests that are watching, again, if you are going to be catching the recording or watching this a little bit later, again, please feel free to reach out to our MPA admission office or myself or Mr. Siegel. Again, all three of us will be more than happy, again, to answer any questions you have. As far as right now live, please, again, post your questions in the comments section. Again, we'd love to answer any questions and stop listening to me ask all of our panelists questions. But having said that, we'll kind of roll right along here. And this question will be for all three of you, but I want to start with Mr. Siegel, our upper school director. Mr. Siegel, in your mind or your eyes, what do you find is most important here at MPA for us?
Thanks, Cory. I would say that really, as a college preparatory school that works to really focus on the whole child, so not just one specific area of academics or arts or athletics, but to fuse those pieces together to bring the best out of a student so they are best prepared for what lies ahead. I would say that focus right there, the whole child focus, sets us apart from our peers, as well as the relationships that we have within our community. I've been fortunate enough to be working in education for 27 or 28 years, and I've never been part of a community where I have seen relationships student to student, student to adult, and adult to adult as meaningful and as solid as they are here at MPA. And that is what drew me back to the Twin Cities when my family and I lived away. And I noticed that the moment that I met people from MPA and set foot on campus at MPA.
Thanks, Mr. Siegel. Yeah, that's a great answer. And again, in my short time being a part of this community, I echo all of those same things. Again, from both my position as the coordinator for our international student program here, but again, also again, in our teacher and faculty relationships with our students, again, who are most important. I'll flip that question around now for you both, Sean and Amy. Again, from a student perspective, what do you find to be most important or most valuable about MPA? And Sean, we'll start with you.
Okay, that's a really hard question because MPA really has a ton of opportunities, so you can really explore your own niche interests. But I think the biggest thing at MPA is just how they really support you to go beyond just some core academic classes. They really have this nice quarter system where they distribute these main subjects. So at any given time, you're not taking all the core classes at the same time. So that really lets you focus on a lot more extracurriculars, a lot more endeavors outside the classroom. So I think that's really valuable, and they really support us in that endeavors.
Excellent. Thank you, Sean. Amy, go ahead and respond to my question here. And then I see we did have a question posted in the chat, so we'll get to that right after Amy's answer. Thanks.
Okay. Another really special thing about MPA is that it's a really small community in terms of like the size of the faculty and students. So everyone, like, it's a really closely knit community, and everyone like knows each other. Like Mr. Siegel will stand in front of the upper school office and say hi to everyone. Like he remembers everyone's name, and all of the teachers like really knows you really well, and they're very friendly and supportive.
Very good. Thank you, Sean and Amy. Again, thank you for posting in the comment section your question. We have a question here. How difficult would it be for a lower school or early middle school child with a bit of a language barrier? And we'll let our upper school director, Mr. Siegel, tackle this question, please.
Colleen, thank you for posing that question to us. And really, you know, that the best answer is it depends. We are a school that is not set upon certain numbers or thresholds with regard to those students who are admitted or accepted to MPA. I think really it's about having that conversation to find out more about the student and find out where their strengths lie and how we can then support them where they may have some vulnerabilities. Certainly, we are a school that focuses on reading and writing and the humanities, as we do within our STEM education as well in math and sciences. And certainly, we have those foundations and structures in place to help bring forward and strengthen those pieces that may initially be a challenge. So please reach out to our admissions office at MPA, or reach out to me personally, and we can certainly help and have a deeper conversation to find out about those younger middle school and or our older lower school students and how we could best serve them here at MPA.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Siegel, for answering that. And again, thank you for the questions. Please keep them coming. That's what we like to see. That's what we enjoy here on the stream. Again, moving along here, and because that question was asked a little bit about our lower school, middle school, and certainly all of us on the upper school, again, let's talk a little bit about academics and the academic rigor that we have in our curriculum here at MPI. I think that's an important piece, again, for a lot of prospective students and families, right? So again, for our current international students we have with us here, Sean and Amy, how would you describe your academic coursework and schoolwork load that you have had here at MPA so far compared to maybe your primary school or middle school years at other schools? And secondary question to that, second part to that question is, with your academic rigor in your coursework that you've taken here at MPA, have you felt supported by our MPA faculty and staff as you've navigated your classes? So Sean, why don't you go ahead and start, and then Amy will have you take.
Yeah, I mean, when they talk about MPA academics, they talk a lot about rigor with purpose, and I think that's just a perfect fit for what we offer at MPA. It's because although each individual class is really rigorous and there's a lot of work assigned for each class, but because of the quarter system, you're only taking a few core classes at one time, so you can really focus on those core subjects. So even if they have a lot of work assigned to them, it's not too much of a burden on you. So you can still focus on your extracurriculars while having these really deep dives into subjects like US history or English literature. So I think that's really important. And another thing is that because our class sizes are so small, because the teacher knows each and every student so well, there's just like so much interaction that goes beyond just the teacher versus everyone in the class. It's more about the teacher and the individual student, as well as between students. And yeah, this kind of support structure is really, really nice in terms of how I developed.
Excellent. Thank you, Sean. And Amy, how about for you?
Yeah, I agree with everything that Sean just said, and especially about the teachers. Like, they're really willing to help you, and like, as long as you reach out to them, they're like very supportive, and like they're really understanding. Like, recently there's a paper that I just procrastinated so much, but when I talked to my history teacher, she really could understand it, and she also offered to help with like time management skills. Like, it's more than just the what the paper is. The teachers also care about your well-being as well as like as a person and as a student.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks, Amy. And that's a great point, right? And something that Mr. Siegel alluded to earlier as well is, yeah, I mean, our faculty and staff, we're really committed again to seeing the growth of our students, not just in the classroom, but again, on a personal standpoint as well. Mr. Siegel, anything you would add to any of Sean or Amy's comments with that question at all, or regarding faculty and staff and kind of the support?
Absolutely. And I think it really builds upon, Cory, what I shared before. Really, one of the strong points here at MPA, or the two strong points that I focused upon. Number one is that whole child aspect, where it's not just about a student diving deeply in one area. However, students can do that through our GCD, our Graduate Certificates of Distinction program, where students can focus on humanities or STEM or the fine arts, and how they interweave or interplay with a variety of our other courses here at MPA as well. With an average class size of about 15 students in each class, we are very much so a discussion-based and conversation-based classroom, where those relationships between the students and their teachers, but more so the students and students, they really play off of one another. We are all about not that sage on a stage, that teacher who's in front of the classroom espousing their expertise on the students, but more so where they serve as the guide on the side, and they really kind of help allow the students to interact with one another and to really figure out what it is that they want to focus on and where their interests are. Sean mentioned that we are all about rigor with a purpose, or really rigor with humanity. It's not about doing work for work's sake. It really is, however, about giving students the educational background and foundation so that they can become masterful within a certain area, those areas that are important for them to move forward in, but really those areas that they may not have interest in initially, that they figure out more about who they are. We also give students here really the opportunity to have that broad experience in high school, where even our international students can participate in sports and clubs. I look at Amy, who's on our cross-country team and is a wonderful member of the cross-country team. I look at Sean, who is the founder of our STEM Education Club. And Sean is a bit humble, but is also one of our two student body co-presidents. It's interweaving our international students into the fabric of who we are, and not just having international students at MPA for the sake of international students. We want to learn from them to diversify who we are as a community.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Mr. Siegel. Very well said, very well said. And again, couldn't agree more with all of that. I want to switch gears here a little bit. Sean, you mentioned that you're a senior this year. Amy, of course, you're a junior this year, but I know that you've already kind of started your college search here in the United States and among other places for your higher ed future career. And so I want to talk, again, we've talked a little bit about the academic with purpose and sort of the coursework and things like that here. But I wanted to ask both of you as well, Sean, since you've been in the process basically since the beginning of this school year in the fall, and Amy, because you're just starting up, how do each of you kind of view our college support, our college search process, college counseling, college guidance, how to navigate college applications either to institutions here in the United States or other countries, again, as you try to think about, hey, these are going to be my next steps for my career. Sean, we'll start with you again. Just briefly talk about, please, how you found the support for college guidance and counseling here at MPA. And then Amy, we'd love to hear your perspective on that too, since you're just beginning that process. But Sean, why don't you go ahead, please, real quick.
Yeah, so this year, as a senior, I've experienced what MPA college counseling has to offer. And I've just been so impressed by how much individual attention, how much individual care goes into each student. And I feel super, super supported by how the college counseling office, Ms. Peterson, Ms. Myers, Ms. Caldford, those are some amazing resources for every student. And they really put in that individual care into each student. And that's really evident in their results as well, because they really find their fit in terms of college. And they go all around the US, also some go abroad. And those are some just excellent choices they make for the student, and it's just an excellent process.
Excellent, thanks, Sean. Amy, go ahead, please.
Since I haven't really started the applying process, but I'm in the researching process, so I haven't really talked to the counselors, but they throughout this school year, they've been sending out each week on a weekly basis, they've been sending out which colleges are visiting our schools, and students can have the opportunity to talk to the college preps. And yeah, just throughout even in my sophomore year, there has been many meetings and information sent out about the whole college, and also the standardized tests. There's a lot of resources and information about that.
Excellent, thanks, Amy and Sean. We did notice, we did thank you for the question, who posted about scholarships, both academically or some sort of financial aid for international students. If you have future questions about financial aid or international student scholarships, please reach out to our admission office about that, or Mr. Siegel, our upper school director, again, and they can have a one-on-one conversation about that. So again, thank you for your question. We are not ignoring that here on the stream, but just again, want a more specific one-on-one conversation with questions surrounding financial aid as it relates to our international students. So thanks again. Please keep the questions coming. We do have about 8 or so more minutes here on stream. Again, we'd love to see you post a question in the comments section. Kind of continuing our conversation, again, I just feel so happy and honored to have, Sean and Amy joining Mr. Siegel and I for this. Sean and Amy, I want to ask both of you, what has been sort of your favorite memory or your favorite experience here at MPA? And I know that's a difficult question, right? I will let you answer with more than one experience or moment if you have one that you've accrued over your years here. But try to think of some favorite experiences or memories. And Amy, not to put you so much on the spot, but we'll start with you and then we'll have Sean answer that question, please.
Okay, there are just so many fun activities. But one thing I really liked was the ice cream social. We couldn't have it this year, which was really sad. But yeah, I really loved the ice cream social because the whole school, everyone from the little kids to all the upper schoolers just gather and have ice cream, which yeah, it was just really fun.
Excellent, thank you. And Sean, how about for you?
Yeah, I feel like I guess one of the best moments I had while we were all on campus without COVID was the homecoming assembly. That was just an amazing time for everyone. And as a student council member, I was on the field running around setting things up, and everyone was just cheering, and it's one of my favorite experiences.
Yeah, I want to add that last year also, we had a barbecue for homecoming in the courtyard, and everyone was just having a great time singing and having nice food. It was great.
Excellent, thank you both. For our guests and viewers and audience out there, if you haven't noticed, food may be a central theme that runs through here at MPA. It's just saying, for better or for worse, again, wherever you fall. But please know that food is always appreciated here at MPA. I did want to circle back somewhat. Again, thank you, Amy and Sean, for your great answers to those questions. I did want to circle back, though, one more time to kind of our college counseling. Wanted to give Mr. Siegel a chance to talk about that and kind of the intricacies of how we kind of layer that here at MPA. So Mr. Siegel, if you just want to, again, wrap up with college guidance and counseling, that would be awesome.
Certainly, Cory. Just to give a bit of an overview or a high-level piece of our college counseling program, we really start from an arm's length in ninth grade, where students are given a tour of our college counseling suite. They meet our college counselors. They hear about what sort of program and what sort of individualized attention we give to the students as they move through our process. We want to almost approach this in a very methodical and thoughtful way rather than an all-in way in ninth grade. We know that there are many students who enter the upper school with thoughts and plans of who they are as students and in which college would be the best one for them. However, what we have found over time is that students learn more about who they are as students and who they are as people as they kind of take that journey through the upper school experience. And so we give them that bit of a taste, if you will, in ninth grade, and then we return really in full in 11th grade, the second semester of 11th grade, where students are actually meeting one-on-one with our college counseling team. We have a junior seminar course that is really focused on students figuring out who they are, what may be those best colleges that could fit them, where our students as well as their families work alongside of our college counselors in a starting with a group format and then a one-on-one format, where they have a long list of schools that they begin to pare down and figure out what is going to be the best fit. Is it going to be an urban area, a rural area, a larger institution or a smaller institution? Really figuring out where those interests lie. And that over time, what we do is we are really keeping track of not necessarily this prize to be won, but a match to be made. What is going to be the best place for our students to put into effect who they are as students and who they are as people as they graduate MPA? We have a 100% graduation rate here from MPA, and really our approach is one that is more collaborative than competitive, recognizing that there are so many schools that are out there for our students to attend. Case in point is the class of 2020, those who graduated last June. There were 53 students in that class who went to 44 different schools in 18 different states, as well as in Canada, as well as in Australia. So therefore, we are not just focusing on a singular region or a singular type of school, but really it is this wide and vast search that our students are looking for, where our college counselors can work very closely with them to figure out what is going to be that best fit.
Very well said. Thank you very much, Mr. Siegel, for that. Again, for our viewers and audience out there, you do have a couple more minutes again to get that last minute question in that you've been sitting on perhaps or stewing about or contemplating. Please reach out and let us know. Just kind of to before we officially wrap up here, I wanted to ask the three of you as well, to share something again about MPA and our community here that again you will never forget. Again, whether it's the friends you've made or a teacher that you've had that's really helped you along the way, whether that's again other relationships that Mr. Siegel's talked about, or just again you growing as an individual. Wondering, Sean and Amy, again, if each of you could please just talk to something that you'll never forget as it relates to the experience you've had here at MPA. So Sean, we'll start with you and then we'll have Amy, we'll have you go.
Yeah, I think my time at MPA was really like dare I say, like a blossoming period of kind of what I had going, because I was kind of more only focused on academics when I was in Korea, but now here I kind of delved into a lot of community with the club as well as the leadership position. And I think those kind of opportunities where you can reach beyond the academics is what I can't forget while attending.
Absolutely.
MPA.
Thank you, Sean. And Amy, how about for you?
I would say it's all of the wonderful teachers and like friends that I've made at MPA. Because like after my first year at the first school in Delaware, I honestly was in a really bad place mentally. But after I came here, like there are so many supportive teachers like Miss McFarland, and I also just made so many friends that, yeah, it's a really warm community.
Excellent. Very well said. And Mr. Siegel, how about for you? What's one thing that is very special to you that you've never forgotten or never forget about MPA?
It's the people. Hands down, it is the people. I feel like I am the luckiest person in the world. I don't go to a job every day. I go to school every day, and the best part of my day is welcoming our students onto campus as they typically come in with smiles on their faces, wanting to be here. So I am just so appreciative of the people here at MPA.
Excellent. Thank you. I do want to take this time. I know time flies by when we're having fun, right? And having a conversation. I do want to thank all of you in the audience and for those of you that contributed questions, for those of you that didn't have a chance to catch this live, please feel free again to reach out to admission@moundsparkacademy.org so that, again, we can get in touch with you and start interacting with you. We would love to hear your questions, answer your questions, and hear your stories. Again, that's really what makes MPA a special place. But also wanted to thank our three wonderful panelists that joined me today here. Our students, Amy and Sean, thank you so much again for taking times out of your extremely busy schedules. And Mr. Siegel, our upper school director, thank you again to you, again, for taking time out of your busy schedule. Again, any final comments or wishes from our panelists at all for our viewers out there? Okay, great. Well, from all of us at MPA, we wish all of you a very happy holidays and winter break that is coming up for those of you that are in the education fields. We look forward to serving you and working with you in the future. Thanks so much for joining us today, and have a great day.